They're definitely influenced a lot by other countries' foods. They have a lot of foreign recipes that they cook. Um, they, you've probably heard of the Dutch Indies, or in South America and some of the islands there. They colonized that in the 1800s, and so they have influences of food from over there. You know, because the transportation, the different food products that they'd import. Also, in in Indonesia, they had colonies there, so they have influences from there as well. So you have, like I say, I'm not an expert on exactly how much they got from there, but I've eaten a lot of Indonesian dishes while I was over there, cooked by Dutch Dutch people, native people. Also, you know, the traditional Dutch plate, you could say, or the meal, it tends to be more, um, I guess you could say more simple foods. You know, they have a lot of potatoes and different types of vegetables. They have, you've probably heard this from other people. They have, you know, dishes called stamppot. It's like a potato mixture. They'll throw in kale or sausage or carrots or whatever else, and mix it up. Really good. I like it. I'm a fan. They have, during the holidays, they'll have different festive foods. They have one that's called sugar bread, if I'm not mistaken, and it basically is just a really sweet loaf of bread with like raisins or something else inside, and in the center they have, I don't know what you call it, but it's like a almond butter type, and it's just a big round, fills up the center of it. And so when you slice it, the center of your bread, delicious, really good. They'll serve that. They also serve something called oliebollen, which is kind of like a donut. It's just a donut. It's a ball of dough that they'll deep fry with powdered sugar, and they serve that during New Year's. It's tradition, you know. They'll buy a bag and eat them on the New Year's. They'll just set up little stands in the city, and you can buy them. Yeah, those are some of the festive foods.
Food. Whenever I think of Dutch food, I think, oh, I want to go back. I think of really, in some cases, really, really healthy people and really delicious food. I loved when members would invite us over for dinner, and I felt like that was a special occasion for me, to see how Dutch people make their food and how much time goes in and how much eating is actually a social event. That's something that they really believe in. I remember a lot of potatoes. I remember Brussels sprouts and looking at them thinking my mom tried to make those and I didn't like them. But when I got there, I just loved it. I learned to love it. Sometimes Dutch people talk about the pickled herring that you hold above, or the raw herring that you hold above your head. And have you ever seen that? You just bite into it and it's really, you have to eat it with pickles and onions. But I think overall their food is really delicious. They like waffles in some cases. I guess that's more Belgium, but they make these delicious waffles that they don't eat for breakfast. It's more of like a dessert type of thing. But I just remember everything tasting very good. And people have asked me, did you ever try bad food on your mission? And I thought, no, I never encountered what I considered bad food. I tried African food. I tried Indonesian food. I tried Chinese. I tried Thai. I tried Dutch food. American food we had, again, even though I've grown up with that, seeing their version was really fun. But it's just, the Netherlands is really a melting pot of cultures where you get to try all sorts of things. So that's what I would consider an awesome variety.
Well, you know, a really typical Dutch meal is, it's honestly very simple food, the food that they make themselves. There's a meal that they call stamppot. It's where you have boiled potatoes and a little chunk of meat and some vegetables and sauce that goes over it, and that's really it. That's their meal. It's very simple, but it's very healthy, and I really grew to like that. I still make it myself. You know, even being home now for several months from the mission, I think, you know, that sounds really good. And I'll buy all the stuff to make it, and I'll just have a Dutch meal. It tastes really good. There are some dishes where you're kind of, I don't really know if I like that or not. For me, there's something called haring, or herring in English. There's that famous missionary film, The Best 2 Years, that was shot partially in that country, and that scene where the missionaries have to eat that fish like that. That's your tradition in the Belgium-Netherlands mission, that a trainer buys it for his or her greenie sometime in their first couple of transfers. and they take a video and send it to their parents. I almost threw up when I ate it. It's disgusting. I did not like it. Some people do, though. One of my companions, he loved it. He would eat them all the time. I couldn't do it. But that's a really fun tradition. And they love dessert in Belgium and the Netherlands. For some reason, every meal has to have dessert. And it's not something that's big. It's something that's like this big. I don't know why. I don't know where that cultural, aspect came from, but they do believe that meals are better with a dessert at the end. And you do have to eat it. They do eat sandwiches a lot. That's a very popular thing to have. Boterham is what they call it. And so it's a sandwich. And they eat those a lot. That'll be a meal. They'll just have a cold cut meal. Just the bread's right there, some rolls maybe, and slices of cheese, different kinds of meats, and things to spread on it. And just go ahead. It's like, all right. Then they like French fries. They're called frites in Dutch, and Dutch and Belgian frites are very, very popular. You can get just a big, so big of a sack for maybe €3 or so, and it's really good. They have their own kind of mayonnaise they put on it, or they have spicy or other flavors, and it's really good. You can make a meal out of French fries in Belgium and the Netherlands. One thing I always kind of liked was they're called stroopwafels. And it's kind of hard to describe. It's kind of like a cookie that's been they kind of cut it in half, so it's really thin. And they put stroop, caramel syrup, in there, and then they press it down with a hot press, and it's warm and soft, and it's so good. Like I would say for anyone that goes there, you've got to try that. It is delicious.
For the most part, Dutch food consists of meat, potatoes, and red cabbage. That's usually kind of what it is they stick to. But they do this really cool thing around New Year's time called oh shoot, I can't even remember the name for it anymore. I gotta think. Gourmette. And pretty much what it is they have these big like hot griddles out. And then you just pour oil on it, and then you just have all these like little like pieces of chicken or beef or steak and all these different meats, and you just take it with like a little fryer, and then you just like cook it on the grill in front of you, and then it's like ready to go right there. But the Netherlands is also influenced by a lot of other countries. There's a lot of people that immigrate there from Africa or from Turkey or Morocco, and so you get like a lot of different foods that way as well. There's an African food I ate on my mission called fufu. And I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like a big ball of edible Play-Doh. And then they have this like soup that you dip it in like with your fingers, and it's really good, but at the same sense it's also really spicy, so that's one thing about it. But I don't know that I ate a lot of authentic Dutch food on my mission other than potatoes, meat, and red cabbage. It's really good. Like all the members that I met on my mission were all really good cooks, so I enjoyed it.